Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a general reading for the week of Monday, June 26th through Sunday, July 2nd. First off, welcome. Glad to have everyone here. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you will find something in this reading that will help you with your journey and things that are going on currently in your life. For those that have been here for a while, thank you. Glad to have you here. Thank you for all your comments and feedback and all the support that you provide. I do really appreciate it. And I love hearing how these readings are helping you and giving you some information to help with your journey. That really does mean a lot to me. So thank you for that. So let's go ahead and get started. I have prayed over the cards, shuffled them. I have asked that each of you receives at least one message. The thing to remember, this is for a large audience. So you may find that only one message resonates. Hopefully you'll find more than that. But if you do find that only one message resonates, just remember it is for a large number of people. We're going to be doing something a little different today. We're going to be using Lenormands for the whole reading. And I have also prayed over and prepared and shuffled the Sibylas and another deck, my Bluebird Lenormands. Okay, that we'll use at some point when they tell us we're going to use them for any clarification. Okay, let me make sure you can see those before we get started. Okay. So let's first start. We'll cover what each of the cards are, and then we'll start delving into what is going on with these. The first card that we have is the Ring. And it's all about commitment, contracts, engagements between us and other people. We have the Tower. And hopefully you guys can see that. I can't see the front of the camera. This is all about structure, protection. Sometimes this can talk about, being a hermit, going inside institution, law, legalities. But it's official, so it can also be like government structures. We have the Scythe, and the Scythe cuts away the BS. It's swift, it's sharp, it will sever things, it will remove the things that are not good for us. We have the Letter, and this is written communications. This is the truth. This is documentation. This is typically a written communication between someone that we have an intimate connection with. And I can see right off the bat, this is pertaining to love. Now we'll see what we find out, see if there's any other angles as we work our way through it. Then we have the Snake, and this is in the center of the reading. The Snake is all about deception, betrayal, complications, someone being selfish, self-absorbed. Then we have the Ship. And the Ship is all about, a journey that we're going to be embarking upon, something that's favorable. It can also speak of traveling at a distance. Then we have the Choice. And it's just that, making a decision between two things. Pros and cons, our alternative options, other avenues and paths that we can take. Then we have the Mountain. This is all about obstacles, restrictions, things we think we cannot overcome. And then lastly, we have the Flowers, and this is, a gift that warms the heart. It's a surprise, something that's pleasant. It's a valuable gift. Flowers were a way to communicate love. Okay, so what we have is the past, present, and the future. So in the past, you made a choice about going into a commitment, going into a marriage with someone. It was contractual, but it was a choice. For most of you, a choice between two people. And for some of you, it could have been you went into a contractual agreement with someone and it was founded on properties, investments, because what we have is the present. We do have the legal thing. So something is being legally broken at this time, legally ended. So it was either a marriage contract or it was a business contract and you made the decision to go into this agreement with that person. Now what we currently have is the Tower, the Snake, and the Mountain. So there's been a lot of deception in this relationship, a lot of betrayals, a lot of lies. You've tried to overcome that numerous times. But you have not been able to. No matter how many times you try to climb the mountain, you try to fix things, you try to repair this, it can't be repaired. It's past repair. Which is why at this point, many of you that are in this situation, you are actually going through a legal, you're actually going through the court systems to either you're going through a divorce or you're actually legally separating the assets, the property, the investments that you have made with this person. You're actually in the process of doing that. And in the process of that, some of you are actually finding out about even more deception that's been going on. And for some, it's been a very long legal process. It's been going on and dragging on for what seems like forever. And you're at a distance from this person. If you look here, you have this buck at the bottom of the mountain. So for many of you, you're going through a divorce and you aren't even in the same state. Or you're separating your assets, separating the business, breaking things into, and you are not physically near each other. It is from a distance. But for most of you, this is about love. Because you have the ring and the mountain. And that's all about obstacles with love, obstacles with unions, obstacles with love, and also at a distance. Now, for some of you, it could have been the obstacles that are leading to this divorce, leading to this separation. You have the snake and you have the mountain, which sometimes can speak about having a remote mistress, having someone at a distance, being unfaithful, having someone. So for some of you, you were married, you were in this commitment with someone, but you had someone that you were keeping separate at a distance that they did not know about. Or vice versa, but I get that there's something cyclical about it. It was a repeated cycle. You see how the snake's almost in an 8, but it's not quite. It's almost like you went into this and were supposed to come out on the other end, but instead you keep getting caught in the loop. This repetitive pattern with this person. They've been trying to break you free of it for a very long time. But it's almost like every time you are about to break free, you get pulled right back into it again. Okay. Now, presently, though, you are in the process of trying to end it. You are going through a divorce proceedings. You are going through the court systems to break up your assets, break things up. And then what we have in the future is we have the scythe, the ship, and the flowers. And in the near future, some of you are going to be receiving communications about the divorce. So you're going to receive paperwork that, okay, the divorce is final. You're going to finally sign the divorce papers. Okay, this is done. You're going to close that chapter so you can move forward onto something better. So you can move forward to a love that will be requited, that won't be full of deception, that won't be full of affairs. That's requited, that's built on a solid foundation, that is mutually beneficial, that is a surprise, that is a gift. Now for some of you, that's interesting. So the ship is, traveling journeys. There are 4 cards in the Lenormand deck that speak of direction. So there's this, lilies talk about north, the sun is south, Scythe is west, the bouquet is east. So you're going to have this end. The person it's ending with, they live to the west of you. The person that's going to be your future lives to the east of you. So you're going to cut this person out that's west of you, and you're going to journey to the east to this person that is a pleasant surprise, and that is a gift. A valuable gift, something that brings you love, brings you happiness. And also this card can also speak about recovery. So you're going to, for some of you, it's going to be complete recovery of your heart, because also this buck's at a distance. So for many of you, because this cycle has been, for some, very violent, very, very ugly for a long time, you have distanced yourself from love. Although there's been a lot of sex involved with this person, with other people, you have distanced yourself from love. See, even if you can look up close, it's like this buck is looking straight forward, but he's like on the top of this rocky little mountain ledge on his own. So you haven't really opened yourself to love. So for many of you, you kept going back to this person, but it may have early on, years ago, been founded on love. But again, for some of you, it's like 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years. It was a very, very long time when it first started. Then it was founded on love. It quickly went downhill. But you felt responsible for this person, this commitment. You kept going back to them. But the love was lost a very, very long time ago, many years ago. So you haven't opened up to love. You have distanced yourself from love. Now the thing is, you never want to have okay, yeah, we'll cover that in a second. Okay, so the hearts, again, past, present, future. You never want to have the because you have the ring and the choice. So it's almost like you were trying to choose between two people to commit between. Some of you could have been you were trying to decide, do I commit or do I stay single, stay on my own? But it's as though you were trying to make a choice between two people, because again, for some of you, there's two people here. When you're finally broken free and you receive the divorce papers, that's going to break you free, for some of you, from a person who lives west of you. You are going to move forward to the love that you're meant to be with, who lives to the east of you. So for some of you, it's almost like this vicious cycle that you were going in. The person you were meant to break free and move forward with in the past, you didn't do that. You were again trying to choose between two people. And you don't want a relationship that's found on trying to choose between two. Because when you go into a union, an agreement, a marriage with someone, you want to know, without a doubt, that's the one for me. That's the person I want to be with. Not okay, I'm going to go into this because I feel obligated, because I feel stuck. I feel like I have to take care of them. I feel like I have to take care of, I feel like our families are pushing us together. Or I feel like, okay, I'm going to have to stay with them because I can't financially support or take care of myself. Now, also when you look at these, you have the 3 different rows. And you do have a marriage, a contractual agreement that is being legally ended. It's being cut. It's going to be cut quickly, rapidly. It doesn't seem like, because for many of you it has been going on for quite some time. Some of you are going to be receiving some communications about even more deception, which is going to make you feel like, okay, I can finally pull up my anchor and sail in a new direction. And for some of you, you do have another option, they're saying it's like a new potential love interest, but you're not with the person. You're not dating them, you're not seeing them, actually you're at a distance. Many of you, you're actually not even communicating with them. But what's going to happen is when that's cut, you're going to be at this ground zero again. making a choice again. But instead of going back to the painful cycle, you're going to be choosing to move forward with the person that is going to bring you the things that you desire. But some of you are going to be hesitant that because of things that have transpired in the past that, okay, that mountain's going to be way too much for me to climb. Maybe for some of you, it was one of your mistresses at a distance. But you know the person. Some of you have been with the person. You've dated. But you're not dating the person now. You're not with the person now. But you are going to be back to making a choice. You think it's going to be a very difficult mountain to overcome, but they're saying it's not. They're saying that once this obstacle's cut, once the divorce is final, once the assets and everything are split and you finally have no ties to your ex, then you're going to easily be able to move forward and move forward rapidly. So, in the numbers, there's arrows. You have an arrow down, you have an arrow up. So the arrow down, what's been kind of dragging your life down is this commitment you made to someone that you've repeatedly tried to make work over and over and over again, where there hasn't been love. You haven't, I get for many of you, for years you've tried to make this work, but for years you've been living at a distance. You've never actually been living together. You've not been close to each other. It's been an uphill climbing battle. It's been filled with a lot of arguments, disagreements. But that's what's bringing it down. You have to cut that person out of your life, because that's dragging you down. That commitment to that person that's been heartache for years, it has to be cut out to lift your life back up, to turn things around in your life. Now, as far as what will turn your life around, you have this arrow up. And the upward arrow is making the right choice this time. Because for some of you, this one. Yeah, okay. So the bottom of the deck is like the overall energy for the reading. And we have the bear. And the bear is all about maternal. You know, sometimes it can be mother. No, it's a female lover. Okay. It's the female, it's the ex-wife, it's the ex-girlfriend. But it's the matriarch, but it's also someone who's very controlling, someone who's very overbearing, someone who is aggressive, rules with an iron fist. And then you have the cross. And it says, a cross weaves pain historically sad. A distance too close means tidings are bad. Suffering increases when the cross is near, but burdens can lift if you persevere. And this has been a tremendous burden to you, for you. This relationship with her. Now, for some of you, it could be different sexes. If it sounds like your story, it's your story. But they're saying it's a woman, it's a matriarch that you have been in a marriage with, a commitment with, a relationship with. That person has been self-absorbed, controlling, overbearing. They have pulled you back in every time that you try to go away. There's repeated deceptions, lies, cheating. It's not been a monogamous relationship. For some of you, it may have even been that you had an open marriage, an open relationship. You're like, okay, we don't live near each other, so you do what you do and I'll do what I do. But you've come to the point now that you want a real relationship. You want someone that wants monogamy, that only wants to be in a relationship with you, that also wants to be living logistically with you, near you, because for some of you, you have not been together for years. I mean, you'll visit each other, then you go your complete opposite directions. But that person is what's bringing your life down. That person has got to be cut out of your life to turn things around. Now, as far as what will turn things, the upward swing is making the correct choice when the past marriage contractual agreement, because for some of you, you're not even married. It's like a contractual business agreement that you've gone into with this person that you've had an intimate romantic relationship with. Once that's ended, then you can move forward with this true love, this gift, this person that is is on the same page and also has the same morals and ethics and beliefs and foundation. Okay. So let's spread these out. I'm going to do a second layer of Lenormands real quick. See if we can get any additional clarification. Make sure you guys can still see those. Okay, we've got a little more room. Bloop. Okay, good. So, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's read these as I put them down so I don't have to lift them up all the time. Because the surface of the table is very smooth and it will keep messing all the cards up. So the first one we have is the Road. This is Choices card. Actually the same card that's down here. So it says, a road in the open reveals the best way. Choose wisely your path to avoid any dismay. Follow your dreams with faith and precision. All will be clear once you've made your decision. And then we have the Heart. The heart is a symbol of fulfillment and joy. Romance is in full bloom for you to enjoy. Serenity rests deep in thy heart. Loving yourself is where it should start. Then we have the Letter. Same thing we have here. So 2 repeater cards. The surprise letter from a place remote brings good news from a friend who wrote. If the words portend a stormy sky, sadness will soon much intensify. Then we have the House. A stately house beyond the gate bestows stability upon your fate. In love and play, your chance to win depends on how you first begin. The Birch Rod. Birch rod brings strife to what should be bliss. To husband and wife all has gone amiss. Prepare for sorrows that dampen the day, begotten of quarrels that bring much dismay. These aren't looking very pretty either. Then we have Birds. Birds bring a message full of cheer. If this card falls distance, all is not clear. Whatever the outcome, remain without fear. Woes will be brief when the birds disappear. Oh, that's funny. These are complete mirrors of each other. We have the Ring and the Choice. We have the Ring and the Choice. That's not good. You never want to have, you know, saying earlier, you don't want to have them together. You don't want to have the Ring and the Choice together. It's really, really bad to have these two together because, again, it's wavering between two loves. It's hesitating to commit. It's infidelity. It's double dealing. And that is the solid foundation in the past of this relationship. Ring to the right, your love is alive. It will ever be bright and continue to thrive. Ring to the left and troubles begin. Your heart will be cleft and filled with chagrin. And the Ring is to the left. Lilies. Lilies are white, green leaves surround. The outlook is bright and passion will abound. When this card rests higher, it means good disposition. The card resting lower is a dubious position. Again, this card is lower. It's not at the top. Lenormands are all about the position, what card's before them, what card is after them. There's a lot of nuances in how they play on each other. And the last card is the Jack of Hearts, which is the Gentleman. This principal card shows a man tried and true, held high in regard, he tells fortunes for you. And upon your behest, if the cards are read well, the worst and the best the cards will foretell. Okay. So right off the bat, we have a marriage, a contractual agreement. Could have been an engagement. It does fall to the left. It is to the left of the scythe. It is being cut. It is being ended. But it was not built on a solid foundation to begin with. From the very beginning, it was made off of trying to choose between two people, trying to choose. There's been a lot of infidelity in this relationship, a lot of cheating, a lot of lies, a lot of deception. And the ring to the left of the heart, it also signifies a ruptured agreement, a ruptured marriage, an ending, and commitment ending, an engagement ending, a marriage ending. I mean, all across it is talking about this relationship, this cycle is over. But for some of you, you have held on to it, refusing to let it go. And for some of you, this one, yeah, for some of you, it's because of family, friends. Actually, I'm going to put these. I don't even know if there's room. So again, this is overall energy. So for many of you, you carried this burden around with this female, this bear. It was a tremendous burden, and you carried it because of what would family think, what would friends think. You had that person in their family relying on you, or the family that you've built together. But it was you continued to stay in it because, okay, this is how I've always done things. This is tradition. This is expected. I need to provide. I need to be the knight on the white horse. You know, I'm being relied on. I'm being counted on. But you had this vicious cycle because, again, for some, they're saying in the past, it's you would repeatedly commit. You'd be back in the commitment. Then you would get more news about deception, things occurring. It would split. You would be back again to making the decision again. It's been a vicious cycle. Now, as the cards that are new, we've got the heart. This is all about emotions, love, passion, devotion, monogamy. The letter is the same as the letter that we had before. Now, we do have the house, and the house is all about home, family, stability. We have the birch rod, and the rod is all about, you know, repetition, temper, arguments, anger, you know, cracking the whip on someone. It also speaks of abuse. And the rod also, there's some cards in the Norman that speak about sex. The rod is all about just straight up pure sex. It's one night stands, or it's just sex to simply have the, you know, casual athletic sex. It's S&M because there's a lot of abuse and anger and dishonesty here, so it could be S&M. Then we have birds, and birds are all about oral communications, mass communication. So, you know, sending tweets, making phone calls, mass emails, but primarily on the phone, rumors, gossip. The birds can also speak of two, because a lot of the Norma decks, it shows two birds. So for many of you, when you are freed from this, you're going to be making the choice between two people. Or some of you are at the... They're saying for some of you that this person, even though you're nearing the end and you're really tired of it, you're at the brink of receiving the documentation to end it, finally be over it, but the person's trying to pull you back in again. So the bird's trying to choose between two people. Again, you've got the one that's, it's been a karmic lesson, a karmic cycle for some of you. They've been repeatedly for years trying to break you free of this person. So you're trying to choose between that person and someone that will make your heart happy, make your heart sing. The ring we've had before, the lilies, they're all about, you know, long-term relationships, wisdom, experience, becoming wiser emotionally. It's also a symbol of sex, but unlike the rod where it's just purely for sex, this is speaking about, you know, an intimate sexual relationship. They can also speak about death and rebirth. You know, it's a vicious cycle that keeps occurring. Also speaks of faith. Okay, we'll come back to that. And the gentleman, that's, you know, the Ace of Hearts, Jack of Hearts. It's new beginning. It's an inviting man. It's also the exit card. So for some of you, what's being split up is some property. Because for some of you, this is a vicious cycle. So maybe for some of you, you were married, you did get divorced in the past, but vicious cycle, the person pulled you back in, lured you back in with purchasing properties together, or investing in properties together, or investing in their business together. So you invested in that, but for many of you, it's properties. It's residential. It has to do with home. You were brought back into another contractual agreement with the person, and it was a vicious cycle. Now, for many of you, what has repeatedly brought you in is sex. For some of you, that was the main pull that would keep pulling you back in. And for some of you, you wanted different things. So for some of you, you kept going back in thinking, okay, we're going to have this solid foundation built on love. We're going to be able to build something together. It is going to be monogamous. It's going to be structurally sound. But every time it was repeated arguments, repeated abuse, repeated betrayal, repeated affairs. But you kept having faith that, okay, well, if I try it again, if I have the faith and try it again, it'll work out. But you are at the point of having this marriage and this contractual agreement, and it has to end. And for some of you, you are going to be you're going to be receiving the divorce paperwork soon. You're going to be receiving the legal documentation, finally having broken up your assets. For some of you, it's like an estate. So for some of you, there could have been passing of a family member, a father, and maybe that estate has been in the works of being split up between the two of you. And you're going to receive documentation about that finally being split up. Because the lilies will oftentimes talk about a patriarch, a father, a grandfather, that like emperor-like figure of the family. But it's with lilies, death, passing, ending. But it's good. Right now, you're just going through the heartache and headache of having it end. But you are being pushed to let it end. Because for some of you, they're saying, in this is, again, your future row, for some of you, that person is still, again, trying to pull you back in. For some of you, they are luring you straight back in with sex. But in the future, you're going to be receiving the documentation that that's finally over, where you can finally cut yourself free of this person. And you are going to be getting some information. So some of you may see online that, okay, the divorce is almost final, splitting up the assets is almost final. You're like, oh, I'm so done. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to no longer be by myself and isolated. I'm ready to have something meaningful. I've gained the emotional wisdom. I know that this is not good for me. I want something better. And you're just at that brink, just at that cusp, and the person's reaching back out to you again and luring you in hard, trying to get you back. But then maybe you see on their Twitter page, or maybe you see it on their Facebook page, but you see something that's a mass communications. You see something about them being on a date with someone else, or maybe you see that they're engaged to someone else. And then you're like, what the hell? We are just splitting up. You're trying to pull me back, and you're engaged to someone else. You're involved with someone else. But that will be the final straw. Because they're saying many of you have had the final straw, which is why you're officially finally ending this. Because many of you, they've been trying to get you to officially end it for years, but you refused. And for some of you, you refused to see the truth. You refused to see things how they were. Because you kept having faith that, okay, this can be revitalized. But it can't. Because for some of you, again, this has been going on for 10, 20 years. This can't be revitalized. You've been in this abusive, anger-filled, even for some of you, it's almost become like hate-filled, vicious cycle. They've been trying to break you free of that. You deserve happiness. You deserve true commitment, true love. Because for those of you that are trying to break free of the cycle, that's what you want. That's what you've been hoping for. That's what you kept thinking this would turn into, and it's not the case. So they are congratulating many of you because you've had the final straw. You're finally done. You're just simply waiting on the paperwork to finally be done. And you're like, praise God, finally. Some of you, however, that person's trying to lure you back in. And you're going to get some communication. For some of you, it's going to be this week. That again, that person's up to no good. It is self-serving purposes, once again, of trying to pull you back in. But that will finally get you to make the right choice. For some of you, the choice is just to move on, have yourself ready to receive a gift, ready to receive love. And for some of you, it really is choosing between two people, because here you've got this 3 on the ship. So for some of you, there has been 3 parties involved. So for some of you, this cycle, they're saying for some of you in the past, you've had to choose between your ex and someone else. So here's the someone else and here's your ex. So for some of you, this is kind of like your do-over. Because they're saying for some of you, you made in the past a choice to go back and recommit to this ex. So for some of you, maybe you remarried the person. For some of you, it could have been something involved with the passing of a family member, a father or grandfather or something, but you recommitted to this person. So really the true love that you were meant to be with, that would bring you this happiness, this foundation that you desired, you cut that person out of your life. And you chose to go back down this cycle, this road with the ex. And it's a repeated pattern of the things that have happened in the past, and you finally have had enough of it. You're ready to cut the BS, but you're going and you're making it legal this time. And when you do, you're going to end this third-party madness. And because many of you, they're saying, this actually worked for you for a while. So for some of you, it was an open relationship. And you know what? She got to do what she was doing out west, and you got to do what you were doing. But at some point, you reached a point of wisdom that that's not enough. That's not fulfilling me. That's not bringing me happiness. That's not bringing me joy. That's making me feel bad about myself. I'm actually kind of embarrassed to share that with people. I really kind of want to keep that a secret, my dirty little secret, because I'm not proud of it anymore. You know, when you're a young man in your early 20s, you're like, yeah, look at all my ladies. I've got a woman who's committed, but she'll let me have all these other people. But as you grow and evolve, you want something more meaningful. You want something with depth. You realize there's nothing really here except for sex and money or whatever the false foundation, but for most of you, it's just based off of sex and money. Needing that financial support. And having, because for some of you, it's just based on kinky, crazy sex. And that's not a bad thing. Kinky, crazy S&M is fun, but it's fun and good when you are having that with someone that you're committed with, someone you have a solid foundation with. There is something more meaningful with that, but that's not what you base it off of. That's not what you should base your relationship off of, because it will crumble in the end if that is all you are standing on. But you have reached that point of wisdom. They're congratulating you on that, because now you're like, I don't want this anymore. I want to be free of this. This is now your do-over. You are about to receive the paperwork that's going to set you free. It's going to cut you loose of this BS, of this cycle. You're finally going to be severed from this. For many of you, you're finally going to be severed from her. And again, change the sexes accordingly. But you're going to finally, in the immediate future, be cut free. And you're going to be able to finally move forward. For some of you, you're moving forward with this other person. Again, they could be east of you. But you're going to break free of this vicious cycle, and you're going to find happiness. You're going to find joy. You're going to find love. This is truly a gift. It's something valuable. It's pleasant. It warms your heart. It's also, for many of you, you're going to feel recovered. You're going to feel like a whole new person. Like, oh my gosh, this foundation, this home, this love, this stability that I have been longing for my whole life. And again, remember, this is the era of what's been bringing you down. This person that you keep recommitting to, that's built on this very, very watery, lukewarm foundation is what's been bringing your life down. When you make the correct choice, and you're getting a do-over to make the correct choice, the arrow that will bring your life upward, you're going to have all those things that you desire. Because you do desire it now. You have worked very hard. For many of you, they do have that person, and for those of you, you know who that person is. Okay. And for some of you, the person that you're going to move forward with does not live near you. They're like not in the same town. So for some of you, they're the same state, but it could be an hour or 2-hour drive or 3-hour drive. And you're going to be, because birds can also speak about, you know, nervous communications. So for some of you, you're going to get your divorce papers finally setting you free, and you're going to be like, okay, this time, by golly, I'm going to make the right choice. I am not going to screw this up again. But you're like, oh gosh, how am I going to have this conversation with her? Because for some of you, you didn't choose her before. You chose the other one. And you got burnt again. And so now you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to go fess up to this mess? I'm going to share that with her. Okay, I know that's where I'm being guided to go. I know that's my fresh start. I know that's where my journey is going to begin to bring me happiness. It's going to be a successful outcome. But I'm kind of shaking in my boots to have that conversation. Archangel Michael will help you have that conversation. You see how this ship's also flying above the mountains? So for some of you, when you get this second, when you get this second opportunity, you are going to make the right choice to commit to the right person. Because again, we have past, present, future, and then we have these 3 clarifying roads. You're being brought back to square one to remake your choice again. Making the correct choice this time, it will be a rebirth. It would be built on something that is concrete, long-standing. You fear that it's going to be difficult to overcome that mountain and have that conversation, but you see how the ship is just flying above the mountains? You are going to sail right over this. It's not as difficult as you think it's going to be. That conversation won't be that hard. There's going to have to be some honesty and truth, but it's not going to be that hard. You're going to sail right over those and then get your heart's desires fulfilled. So hopefully, let's see if there's anything else before we wrap this up. Yeah, nope, that's it. Okay, well, hopefully this helped everyone. I do wish you all an amazing week full of a lot of love, joy, and blessings.